want to talk to you about a new kind of MOOC today, so a MOOC for the foreign languages. And I strongly encourage you to browse along. So I mentioned a lot of sites today, a lot of resources. If you go to bit.ly/Todd Bryant, all the links are up there, along with any login information you might need. So I mentioned I work at Dickinson College, and what I do the most is I connect our students with native speakers abroad who are learning English. And I do this mostly with a website I created called the Mixer. Built on Drupal, it's basically a social networking site for language partners. So you're a native English speaker, you want to learn Spanish, you find a native Spanish speaker who wants to learn English, you talk via Skype, and you practice. And I do this for our own classes as well. This is an intermediate Italian course. They came to class today prepared with questions. I'll say go, and they'll call a native Italian speaker who wants to learn English. First 25 minutes in Italian, they'll take notes as they go for their homework. Then I'll say switch, and they'll go to English. So these changes work very well. Students like them. It's very motivational. They get to put into practice what they've been learning in class all week. Professors like it. So it's 25 minutes solid one-to-one in the target language, which in second, third semester is a lot for them. But I think we can make them a lot better. I think one way to do that is through a MOOC. But for that to happen, our idea of a MOOC has to change. So right now, most MOOCs, speaking of ex-MOOCs, are basically traditional lecture courses put within an LMS. And you can see that on this example Coursera site. So you can see why they're moving to the LMS market. The highlighted content, the videos there in the middle. There's multiple choice questions in between. There's like a digital Dropbox upload function on the left, discussion board, and so forth. And this may work for some subjects, but certainly not all, and especially not the foreign languages. So the foreign languages, we value above everything collaboration, feedback, and communication. So we can't have a model where increased enrollment means decreased communication. So we need to have a one-to-one model. And there are certainly challenges with open access courses, especially as they scale. But there are also opportunities. So I can imagine computer science courses working together open source projects. Social sciences doing simulations, games, ARGs. Environmental sciences doing crowdsourcing their research. For foreign languages, this means the opportunity for one-to-one partnerships. So matching our students with learners, having them each be a tutor of their own native language while learning their target language. This wouldn't be new. So foreign language teachers have always used the internet. At first it was for authentic materials, resources, but quickly as a communication platform to connect their students. Asynchronous and synchronous text became audio, and now we have really full-fledged video conferencing, in our case via Skype. And the MOOC should continue this trend. So it should be fundamentally a communication platform. So we should embrace the openness to allow our students to find a partner, one-to-one relationship where each one's a tutor and a learner at the same time. And with a Mixer, I already have a communication platform. So right now, anyone can sign on, find a partner with whom they can practice. And some of these learners are traditional learners. They have an instructor, a teacher, to provide some structure. But most are independent learners who, without the Mixer or a similar site, couldn't practice their target language. And for both these groups, I'd like to give them some structure and create lessons. And I don't need to create them from scratch. So there's a lot of open access resources of foreign languages online. And so I decided to start with English and Spanish. And so for English, I chose BBC's Big City, Small World. They have a whole learning English site. Basically a series of short stories with text and audio about young people who move to London, comprehension questions, and grammar. And Voice of America, slightly more advanced, topics of cultural events, current events. And then I combined that content with OWL from Purdue. And basically Purdue's a general site for writing in English, and they have great grammar explanations. And so the lessons are basically pushing those together, and then using the exchanges as a way to practice what they've learned. So for example, a student would have read a short story about young people finding an apartment in London, and prepositions. They would then prepare questions to their language partner about where they live, what's nearby, do you live in a house, an apartment, where's the grocery store, etc. And then after they do the exchange, they should then practice their writing. There's a blog function. They then write their post to the blog. The whole community can see that and provide feedback. If they have a teacher, they can leave their comments there. And if it's for homework, they can also ask that their partner confirms the event, and it then shows up on their profile page. I then did the same thing for Spanish. Project Español, excellent site. Cervantes F.A. and Fundación de Lengua Española. And Spanish Language and Culture from Colby College. Professor Nelson created that. And then for the exercises, University of Texas has a fantastic center called Corel, and they have exercises, among other things, which I'll talk about later. And Bowdoin College has a full, free, online Spanish grammar textbook. And like I said, the links for all these are in that doc at the beginning. And so since these are on the mixer, people can go through these lessons at their own pace. But to encourage the interaction, I decided to offer a MOOC. In reality, these are two MOOCs. One's for English speakers learning Spanish, and one's for Spanish speakers learning English. And to encourage them to interact, they can see the sign-up list from the other course along with contact information. And to make this even easier, I'm having what I'm calling gatherings. So basically doing for them what I did for the Italian course at the beginning. You sign up for a specific day and time, you come online, you're matched at random with a speaker from the other course for a language exchange. So far, so good, but I'd like to extend this. So starting with lessons for languages I don't speak, like Arabic and Russian and so forth. There aren't as many materials for these languages. Independent learners especially don't have a structure that they can follow, so a sequence. And after I do those lessons, I'd like to eventually have complete textbooks that integrate the idea of language exchanges within them. So I mentioned Corel. In addition to a large number of fantastic resources for foreign languages, they have two complete textbooks, Français Interactif and Deutsch im Blick. They're both completely free online. They have online questions, like you see in an online workbook, and you can get a print version for like $30. So really, really great text. So what I'd like to do is, within the books, have activities assume that each student has access to a language partner. So for example, we do a lot of partner activities in foreign languages. If you teach a foreign language, you've seen something like this 1,000 times. There's a vocab list at the top they've just learned. Teacher says, okay, work with your partner. In this case, they're all German foods. Ask your partner which one's healthy, unhealthy, or kind of and then switch. So imagine if, as homework, they would then speak with a language partner, in this case in Germany. What American foods do you know of? What are common German foods? Which ones do you like, not like? Which ones are healthy, which ones are not healthy? And then they would then write that on a blog as homework. And that'd be discussion for class the next day. This is another activity later in the book about politics. How do you inform yourself about politics? What parties are there? Are you active? And so forth. So imagine this activity as homework. You would then speak with your partner in Germany. What parties do you know of in Germany? What do they stand for? Are you active? What do you think of them? And so forth. So imagine how that would change how we teach culture in the classroom. I think it'd make a big difference. So to wrap up, I think language exchanges in general are a great addition to any foreign language course. We do them from beginning to advanced courses in all languages at Dickinson, and they work very well. And I think MOOCs can extend that reach and provide structure for more independent learners. Thank you very much.